So you went on the listing appointment, they said they wanted to hire you, you got that listing agreement signed, and now you're wondering, now what do I do? I got you. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything you need to be thinking about directly after getting that listing agreement signed. So you need to watch this video before it happens. Make sure you save it and come back to it so you're ready to go when you do get that listing agreement signed. Big thing you want to think about when you're getting that listing agreement signed is the timing of when you actually get it signed. And here's what I mean by that. You do not want to rush the process or rush the homeowner and potentially mess something up because you were really pushing to get that listing agreement signed early. Here's what I did. My very first listing appointment, I did exactly that. I just wanted the listing. I just wanted to get it signed. And I really botched the entire process. So, in a little bit later in the video, I'm going to talk about how I could have avoided some of those problems. But one of the big thing I could have done to avoid this problem was not get the listing agreement signed too early. I'm also going to talk about what to do if you do, though. So in my area, a listing has to go into the MLS within 24 hours after getting that listing agreement signed. So you get the listing agreement signed, then it has to be uploaded into the MLS within 24 hours. My MLS rules also dictate that a listing can only be in the coming soon status for 30 days. Once you hit that 30-day mark, that listing, this is for my MLS, that listing will automatically go to active, and there's literally nothing I can do to stop it. So here's what happened. My first listing, got the listing agreement signed, totally jumped the gun. They were not even close to pictures, and that listing was in the MLS as coming soon. We didn't even have pictures done yet, just had a Google Street View as like the coming soon picture. And then it ended up automatically going over to active. I didn't even know. Like one day it just went to active and I was like, why did this happen? And I had to call the MLS and figure out exactly why. It was just automatic. And then I was holding off showings because we still weren't ready yet. We didn't even have pictures. And I was even at their house. Like I was helping them clean. I hired a cleaner to go over there and help them get the house ready. So it was the first time I've done that, and it was not the last. I'm sure I'm going to end up doing it more times at some point. But so anyways, I was over there, and the cleaner that I hired was over there, and we were fixing things and trying to get the house ready for pictures. We got the pictures done, we got them uploaded, but the house had already been active, so we really missed out on that opportunity of freshly hitting the market. So here's how I would have handled that situation now. I was not aware of this, and you want to check with your individual area and check with your MLS to see if this is a violation of any rules or not. But here in this area, technically it's not a violation of any rules to just cancel a listing agreement and then immediately get a new one signed and put it back up there. I think that's a very easy conversation to have with the homeowner if you just say, hey, just want to let you know, because of these delays, we just need to reset things. So if it's all right with you, I'm just going to send you over a new agreement. If you could just sign it real quick, and then we'll move on and carry on with the next one. And really just as simple as that. I think if you just talk your way through it, not going to be a big deal at all. You want to let the homeowner know that if we don't do that, then it might mess up the timing and we don't want to go active on the market too soon, stuff like that. There is, here in my market, that particular tactic is huge because on the MLS, it does not reset the days on market because you have to have the house off market for 60 days for it to reset the days on market. But if you look on Zillow, if you cancel listing and then immediately list that same house exactly the same the next day, it will reset the days on market on Zillow and move it back to the top of the search results. So here in this area, there are tons and tons of agents who do that all the time. The ethics of that particular tactic are questionable at best, but it is technically not a rule violation, so I think it should be a tool in your tool book to be used sparingly in extenuating circumstances. Okay, so now that we've talked about the whole cancellation switcheroo, so you get the listing agreement, and the next big milestone that you want to be thinking about in your head is getting pictures done. So you want to be working with the seller. Now this is if the house is not already ready to go for pictures. You want to coordinate with them and figure out when's going to be best time for them to get the pictures done. Because I've ran into so many situations where there's just been really massive delays in getting a house picture ready, I won't even send out a listing agreement until it's ready for pictures. So I'll wait until they tell me, all right, hey Frank, we're ready to go. It's ready to have some pictures. I'll say, cool. I'll send out the listing agreement. And then as soon as they sign the listing agreement, then I'll get the picture scheduled. So we just knock it out in just a few days. So you coordinate with the seller, figure out what's best for them to get the pictures done. I recently hired somebody to do the sign and lockbox installation, but for years I was installing my own sign and lockboxes, and I would just go there the same time that the photographer gets there. So just run over there, meet the photographer, just in case, because you want to do a final walkthrough as well and catch something that the photographer might not, because it is just so frustrating, and you'll hopefully not run into this, but you may. If you talk to a homeowner, you tell them certain things that need to be done to get a picture ready, and then you send the photographer out there and you get the pictures back, and like the ceiling fan blades are covered in dust. And if you've heard me mention ceiling fan blades a bunch of times, it's because I'm very, very passionate about ceiling fan blades being clean. It's just, I think it's a huge turnoff. So I'll go out when the photographer gets there, install my sign, install my lockbox, and then I'm ready to go. Now about lockboxes, I used to use just the Supra Bluetooth lockboxes, and after a little while I switched to all combination lockboxes. The Supra boxes are great in theory because they track everything, and you have to, they're a little, they're a bit more secure to get into them, but it ends up just being more hassle than they do good, because you could be out there and there's a good chance maybe your inspector doesn't have Supra access, so you're going to have to go out and open the house for the inspector. Or maybe the appraiser doesn't have Supra access, so you have to go and open the lockbox for the appraiser. Or this has happened a couple times where a homeowner actually locks themselves out of the house and they need a key. And if you're using some fancy Bluetooth lockbox, they can't get into that. So I've just found it to be a lot better to just use the combination lock boxes. That's how I do it. So once we get the pictures back from the photographer, then we're going to be uploading those pictures into the MLS. We're going to be fully building out the listing, not in an active status. Hopefully, I like to put everything in coming soon first so I can get everything fully built, and then I'm switching it over to active. So we get the pictures up there, we get a nice description, make sure that all of our boxes are checked for the utilities, and the listing is as complete as it can be. And then what I'll do is I'll send that listing over to the homeowners, and I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here is the draft of your listing. I'm still working on it, and this is in case you spelled something wrong and they call you out on your spelling error. You just say, here's my draft of the listing. I'm still working on it. Just want you to take a look and let me know if there's anything you want me to add or change. And then they can put some things in there, like maybe it's their favorite thing that the house is a very close walk to the beach, or their favorite thing is that the way the sun sets and you can see it through the window. So then you add that into the listing, make them happy, and then when they are ready to go, that's when you say, all right, let's switch it over to active and we'll start showing the house. Some other things that make sure you want to get uploaded to that MLS listing, and this is it's a little bit extra work up front, but is going to save you time in the long run. If the house is in an HOA, you want to have a completed HOA disclosure statement filled out by the seller. So you want to have that document pre-signed so that when somebody wants to write you an offer, they just pull that out of there. They're adding their buyer's signatures and then they're sending it over to you. If they have a blank one, it's going to add an extra step and it's going to eat up a bunch of time later. So make sure you get that HOA disclosure in there if your home is in an HOA. Same thing if it's in a condo. And I have a whole video about how to sell houses in condos and HOAs. But you also want to get the HOA covenants or any rules and restrictions. You want to get that uploaded into the documents section of the listing as well. And you also want to get the seller's disclosure uploaded in there. Any documentation that you think is relevant, just get it up there. That way, so otherwise there's going to be a ton of agents texting you saying, hey, can you send me the seller's disclosure? Do you have a seller's disclosure? What are the HOA rules? You just want to be able to say, yep, it's in the listing in the document section. Go over there and find it. It's going to save you a ton of time down the road. All right, and here's a super bonus tip for everybody who stayed this far in the video. Now, this is mega important. I slept on this for a long time, and I see agents sleeping on this every day. They do not do this basic task. Once you get that listing put in the MLS, you go into Facebook and you create a marketplace listing for that house. This is going to do a few things. First off, everybody that sees that listing is now going to associate you with selling houses. And you are just taking up mind share of everybody who even just sees it. It doesn't even matter if they're interested in selling a house or not. You cross-post that house in all these different buy-sell trade groups, everything on Facebook. You're just associating selling houses with your name. So that's the big first thing it does. Second thing, there's a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace who are scanning, looking for housing. Most of it is going to be people that are looking for rentals, but I have snagged some people off of Facebook Marketplace listings who are not represented, or maybe they're working with an agent and their agent just isn't helping them out that much. And you can definitely snag some buyers off of Marketplace. What I would also do is go ahead and once you get that listing built on Facebook Marketplace, just boost it and put it in front of a few thousand extra people. It costs you $20 to just get a few thousand extra eyes on it. That type of advertising, super cheap. Might help get it sold, might not, but at least it's just getting your name out there. I can't tell you how many times I've had people message me that I've never even talked to before, and they say, hey, I see you posting houses for sale all the time, and so I see you out here crushing it. Maybe they just have some questions for me. They want to get their license. They want to buy or sell. Who knows? But it's a free step, free or $20 step that will have huge returns in the long run. That's all for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.